Let's get busy.
That is Amber Steele. She's back.
I'm back.
How are you?
Super jet lagged.
You're coming from, you said,
Washington State.
State.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Washington, so I obviously said.
Yeah, the long haul. The 3-hour time difference.
Yeah. And that, what was your connecting flight from
Chicago.
Chicago. So.
Did you say Boston?
No, a connecting
That's
flight
weird.
from. Yeah.
I went to Boston and then I flew all the way across the country.
Yeah, nothing would surprise me. But well, in D.C., the state, Washington State, was.
In the state of Washington, my best friend lies with her husband.
So just a friendly visit, nothing.
Yes,
okay.
nothing like no business. It was really just I love her. She lives out there. We did record a song together, which I will share
While
with
you're
you.
there?
Yeah.
Really?
Because that's something that her husband and her want to start doing for
Okay.
musicians. And
An original, too?
no, Adele,
Oh,
Someone Like You.
Oh, no.
We did some
Did you?
harmonies with it too. Yeah.
I'm sure you killed it.
Yeah, and we ate a bunch of pizza afterwards.
So cool.
I don't know if we killed it, but there were some really pretty harmonies.
No, I'm gonna toot your fucking horn because I remember the first time I heard you. It were 2+ years, maybe a little bit, 2-ish years. I was
Wow, you're right.
Blown away, and you're one of my favorite, not just female, but just music voices in town, and plus
Thank
I
you.
enjoy your company. We always have a hug and smiles and
I
laughs.
love
and,
hugs.
yeah, so and it's always good to hang out with you. Love conversations, and I want to bring you back and see where you're at these days. And the workout thing, that's cool. I love that. I mean, it's discipline, it's dedication, and I think it's cool
Thank
that you're sharing it. You're
Yeah.
on a mission. What? Give us.
What is my mission?
What is the mission?
So initially, the mission was to take control of depression and anxiety. I was thinking, like, my old therapist, who I never listened to, would just be like, okay, here's what you need to do. And you start here, and then we'll reevaluate if we need to put you on different or more meds.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, 8 hours of sleep a night. Never did that. It was
Why not?
2, 3, 4 hours. Maybe I had done a bunch of cocaine the night before, then I'd go to work at my 9-to-5 job, tired as hell.
And I'm impressed that you're being that honest. Right
Well,
there. That is.
I'm not the only one that has dealt with it
Yeah.
or does deal with it. And so, I didn't sleep right. I drank way too much. She told me that I should not drink at all with my certain chemistry as a person and alcohol as a depressant. I did not exercise. I did not put good food into my body. Everything I ate was from a box or fast food. And I also didn't know how to cope with emotions. So I was always very, staying busy and distracted and numbing. And, we didn't get very far. I think I had 2 or 3 appointments with her. I actually have a bill in collections that I just found out about.
This is your.
This was years ago.
No, but this is your therapist.
This is my old therapist. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I ended up quitting my job because I was depressed and I didn't know what I was doing. I just
What did they figure? Why? What caused this? What's this depression stem from?
Well, my mom had it, and she never really talked about it. But now that I look back, that was what I was seeing. I would see her sleep a lot in the day, and I just thought that she was taking naps with my sister, who was 3 years younger. But no, she was depressed. She had it. Growing up with teenage parents, I didn't learn how to deal with emotions. They didn't know. They were doing the best they could. Every parent does, but they didn't know who they were. So I've literally had it. I noticed it when I was about 12. My best friend at the time, she invited me over, and we used to spend every waking moment together in the summer especially. And I remember just feeling really weird and telling her that I didn't want to spend time with her because I felt really weird and I didn't know how to explain it. And that was when I remember it starting.
Why would you feel weird around her, or just weird? Period?
Everyone.
Okay.
Which is not really like me, right?
Mm.
Because
How long ago was
really,
this?
when I was 12.
Oh,
So I'll be 32 in November.
Oh,
So
okay,
20 years ago, man.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. And then enter college and alcohol. I'm like, okay, I don't have to feel all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you're
But,
numbing it. And
yeah.
You're,
But that's where it
masking
started. Is as I knew that if I grabbed a hold of the routine, that I prayed that things would work out and I wouldn't have to go on medication, because people around me were like, maybe you need to go get on medication. And I don't have anything against medication for other people. I just am stubborn, and it didn't work for me because I never attacked the inner demons, and that's the hard shit. That's the hard shit.
Yeah, I heard a line from someone who this really broke my heart. It was someone who was young that started medicating. They prescribed, depression on medication, and she was doing an interview with something, and her line that she made this comment, and it totally stuck, just blew my mind to hear a child, or I say a child because she's a teenager at this time.
Wow.
She said something like, because they were wanting to, try to get her through a routine or try to get her off medication.
Yeah.
And her response was, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it, basically was like, I don't know how I'll feel without those tiny little pills. It's like, wow.
Well, that's the thing, is no one really wants to feel that.
Yeah.
But so when I was just kind of, when you're like having a bad day or maybe you're depressed or whatever, and you're just kind of like isolated and you're really into your phone, because I think the phones make it really easy to stay stuck. Yeah. Like the next thing you know, your hand's numb and you haven't done anything productive except for drive yourself bonkers. I did stumble upon a really nice article. I was just trying to understand where I was coming from and why I was feeling this way and what did I need to do. And it stuck with me, and this was almost a year ago. It was just like, hey, like, society teaches us to not feel, but we're human, and that's what makes us human. And I was like, oh my God, it's okay. It's okay to feel like crap sometimes, but it's not okay to let it take over you. Right. And so it's like, hey, just feel this and try to understand why you're feeling that way and make peace with it. So like if I'm cranky, I'm like, okay, I'm cranky. Why am I cranky? What do I need to do about this? Like, instead of being like, I'm not allowed to be cranky. Like everyone is always like, you're always so happy all the time. And I always felt like I had to be happy all the time, but I really wasn't. And it's okay to not be.
And then there's this evil monster, social media, who...
Yeah. It can be good, it can be bad.
Shit, it's...
Every time I'm in your presence, I just gotta take the clothes off.
And you're alcohol free, Just imagine if
bourbon and ginger minus the bourbon.
Minus the bourbon. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I've gone through stages of depression, and a lot of this was. A lot of it was triggered around the time I got separated, and so this is 2006. In 2000, so it was real quick. Separated in September 2006, divorce final February 2007. So it's that quick. Very amicable.
Is that quick? I don't know.
August to September.
I haven't married Christian yet to divorce him.
It's so we're talking. We're literally talking. What is that? 3? Yeah, 5 months. So that was that quick. And it was. We grew apart. It was very amicable to the point where I'm like, Melanie, you said somebody just got divorced at your work, get their attorney, let them do the paperwork, show it to me, and we just agreed on everything. But the hard part, what really, as a, no one, as much as you probably say, oh, it was for the best, to separate and she'd get to do her thing, and because the emotional ties were not there, and but you look back and you think failing. I looked at. I wasn't failing marriage. I failed family, and someone, one of my daughters, and to be a full-time dad for years, and then become a part-time dad, and then once you're becoming a part-time dad, like that in 2007. So in that year 2007, Claire would have been like my oldest. Kelsey would have been 15. So Claire, Kelsey, and my son, they were getting into their teenage years, and then my youngest was still under teenage. She was not a teen yet. But where I'm going with this is that at that time of their lives, friends, and they spending time with dad on a weekend was
not
second
cool.
choice.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
their second choice, not because they didn't care, but it was
they're
just
teenagers.
They're teenagers, right?
Yeah, they don't get it.
So there was a stretch where that summer I was just miserable. I was totally depressed because I didn't get to see him as much. I was going from a full-time dad to a part-time dad to not getting that even the part-time feel because they're teenagers. They want to do their own thing, school, friends. I get that. Which led to me in October of 2007. That's when I decided to get a dog, and that was my divorce present.
Isn't that nice?
So my 6-pound Yorkie is still with me to this day. So he's been by my side, but I did. There was this long stretch where being alone and not used to that, so yeah, depression. And I can say that in the depressive state, it took me to some extremes. And fortunately for me, I'm here doing a podcast, but I might not have been. And
right.
and
Same,
so, but
honestly.
I was doing the pills and all that stuff. But in the last year, the depression kept me from sleeping well. So I was on taking the Lexapro.
Too much or too little sleep?
Too little, actually, because I'm just my mind. I'm having insomnia too.
Okay.
So, I can't sleep thinking. So I'm taking Lexapro, taking Ambien, and I'm just that kind of medication was not. I shut it down. I decided to change things, do things, be around different people, just disengage from a lot of things to, because I said I'm gonna get off the
Pity pot?
get off the pills,
Oh.
and how I'm gonna do this, and that meant some changes, and I pulled it off.
High five.
But at the same time too, I could still probably use an Ambien every now and then to sleep. Ambien, yeah. Anyways, but so yeah, I'm the depression thing. Been there. I have my days. We all do.
For sure.
But
Today was kind of weird because, like I said, I was jet lagged, and I know I'm hormonal. Like, I don't care, whatever. I'm a woman. I have this situation. So I'm just really tired, and I slept a lot, and it just it brings back those feelings of kind of shame, because when I was really depressed last year, I did a lot of sleeping, and then I would crawl out of bed between 4 and 7, 8 p.m. and then I would put my face on, put whatever outfit I felt that fit at the time, and then I would start to get drunk, and I'd go out, and no one would know. Mm-hmm. And then I'd stay up until 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the morning and do it all over.
During that stretch, how much music were you playing, singing, gigging?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was part of the routine too.
For
that
sure.
schedule.
Yeah.
That lifestyle, if you will.
Yeah.
You're
and just kind of being like a party hound. It was just it was never enough. It was never enough. It was always more shots, more booze, more whatever.
You go out, and especially as a musician, I can only imagine, especially if you entertain alcohol or the fun things of the night. You go to the excess,
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really. I'm not judging. I think people can do it, but you got to have a. Well, let's go back. Then Christian's in your life.
Yeah. I think I'm more like I'm in his life.
Well, and you all been together for
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Never yelled at each other one time. Can
Really?
you believe it?
Well,
yeah.
no, actually, I believe him. Not yell. No, I believe him not yelling at you.
I've
because
never
that's
yelled
just
at
not,
him.
But you've never yelled at him.
No. No.
Well, they're probably. What could you yell at him about?
I mean, we've had some like.
Now I'll take it back. He
We've had
probably
some
could yell at you.
feelings. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen him get angry before, but he's just so like calm. Remember when you were talking about like being alone, and not, like you just felt like you were just alone. Like your kids were teenagers, and then you were a part-time dad, and so. Oh God, where do I start? Like. He's taught me just by leading by example how to enjoy being alone. I never knew that I had this side of me that was an introvert, and I only like fed into that through like the negative aspects, through the isolation and the depression and the not keeping my commitments and things like that. And so I didn't know that there was a side to me that what I call now is the recharging of the batteries, because I sell life insurance. I meet people 4 days a week. I do gigs. I do coaching. Everything is with people, and I really like that. Yeah. But I never knew that I had to like take time to myself. But no, he really taught me that because he's very independent. He never asked anyone for anything.
That's how I see him. Yeah.
He's never, he was 100% always accepted me, even on the bad stuff. Like the coming home and just.
I get it with him. Yeah.
I had a girlfriend one time. We went to a bar that I shouldn't have been to, and she was like, "What are you doing? Like, you need to go home. We need to go home. Like, we were already wasted. We just sang a million songs at a Kiko's," and I was like, "I want to do more." And she's like, "Okay." So we went, and then these girls, like I was really looking, like I was jealous of these really hot girls, and it came out in my it was really weird. I said something really shitty to them, and they said something really shitty back, and then I cried all the way home in the Uber, and she like drugged me up the stairs, and she's like, "Here's your girlfriend." He like put me to bed.
Hand off to.
Yeah, and he never like made me feel bad about that stuff. But he like, he gets it. Yeah.
And it's good because he's we could do a whole segment on him because he's a good guy, talented guy.
He would hate that.
Well, maybe one day we will.
Yeah, so, we'll get him
on. I'm with you there too because. Eventually, it hit me that alone doesn't necessarily mean lonely.
Yeah.
And once I got that, unfortunately, I'm starting to get used to my alone time.
You kind of like it.
I do like it.
You kind of I like value it.
Yeah. Because right now, like tonight, I'm recording a podcast. I'm doing now.
We're recording.
Yeah. Recording. I record 3 now. I've got 3 podcasts. And then 2 of those, one night, actually 2 nights of the other 2, they're audio podcasts, so I'm doing a lot more editing. So I'm spending several nights. I might have 2 nights that I could really make myself or would allow myself to go do something. And kids will always have that first choice or first option is to hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
So the idea of a relationship or the attempting one, unfortunately right now I'm not relationship material. So
I dig that. It's funny you say that. So I've never been the person that was like, I want to get married and have kids. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I've kept my dog alive for 5 years. Kept the cats alive for 11. I actually don't feel like a total piece of shit human. Like I think I want to have kids.
Do you really? Have you thought that?
Yeah.
Lately?
Yeah.
Really?
Because I never felt like I would be a good mom. I never believed that I could show them. No offense, mom and dad. I didn't have the greatest examples. They really did their best, and it is what it is. But I just feel like I think I could do a good job now.
Yeah, in some ways, I actually respect that because if you have concerns with yourself. If you can say to yourself, I don't think I could be a good parent, then you shouldn't have kids. And, and I don't think I think there's not enough people who take the time to say that. And that's just the truth, because to me, I know people. They're like, no, fuck, you should not be a parent.
Okay, you're having another one? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, good God. Why? I know why, because you're not being smart.
Because they're defunding Planned Parenthood. No. Don't get me started.
Yeah, that's a good topic, though.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Let's go to, let's stay with music. Let's go to music right now.
Cool.
What happened to the night? I have to fucking ask, because that'd be the elephant in the room.
God. Okay.
I mean, I had you guys, the band.
I know. The last time I was in this building.
Yeah, the whole band.
Yeah,
all
we were all
5 of you were here.
I know.
And I actually went to see the gig at Diamond.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really fun.
Good fun. You all sounded fucking great.
I know the sound guy. We had never worked with him, and whoa.
What's his name?
Oh Jesus! Now I can't.
Because
remember.
I know who he is. I can't remember his
Denver?
name.
I think he went by Denver.
It sounds right. It does sound right. But I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He did a good. Yeah, he's a great singer.
It was really cool because I remember being like on stage, thinking, "Wow, this stage volume is like not killing my ears right now," and I was able to hear myself and. I don't know. I was just really happy with. I know. So we're getting set up, and it was like 9-ish, and I'm like, people are sitting at these tables. Yeah. Okay. And how many times have I played in that room? Yeah. And I was like, okay, are these people actually going to come? No, they're just going to get food. Yeah. Nope. I mean, 9:15 doubled. And it was before the show started. I'm like, oh my God, good job, Jack, dude. Like.
Yeah,
that was him. That was his work. Like, he brought all those people in.
Well, I'm sure there was probably a few people that came because they knew Amber Steele was...
Well, maybe a few, but I didn't really recognize a lot of those people, which was really, really, really cool because I felt really proud of him for putting that together. Yeah. But what happened was...
Because the band has actually gone through some changes, too.
I know.
Not just your departure, right? There's someone else that...
Everyone but Jack.
Okay,
left the band.
I actually did not know. I thought I knew Craig did. So I didn't know about the drummer in the band. Okay.
Everyone.
All right. So, without burying somebody,
I know.
There's a common thread here. What happened from your perspective?
So from my perspective, So I was very overwhelmed with everything that was going on. Like, I had started going to AA because I've been battling alcoholism for 10 years. Actually, longer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When did you start doing that? Or when did you start going there?
When I started doing AA, right when I quit drinking. Because I said something has to give. I've tried a million times.
We're talking about the last 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't even really mean to quit drinking. It just happened naturally. And all the other times it was like, well, I just won't drink this week, or I won't drink for 2 weeks, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this time I said something has to be different because I want a different outcome, right? But yeah, the routine in my fitness community led me to that. And they didn't mean to. No one meant to. But anyway, so I started going to AA, and that literally started picking apart every aspect of my life. Everything. And it was starting to get a little bit much. Like, I was picking apart Christian in my head. Surprise, Christian. He probably noticed me being a bitch.
But that's the point of it, too.
It is the point. Yeah. But the thing is, I also, talking with my sponsor, she said, you have a lot on your plate. She said, you have way too much on your plate. And really what you need to do is find you, the sober you, and, start working on that. Start doing the inner work, right? Which was I never had done, even with a therapist. Never did what she told me to do. So anyway, I just was like, well, what am I going to do? Because I got myself into this financial situation where all my bills are paid on time, but I have a lot of credit card debt. So I have to increase my income, but I'm already kind of to the max with my time. And so, nice.
Give a shout out to Jack and Lindsay's here.
Jack and Lindsay
in the background.
They are the best huggers, by the way.
They're good people.
Yeah.
Good people.
Getting married here soon. Woo woo.
Yeah.
But
before you and Kristen.
Yeah, well, of course. We're gonna get a puppy.
Stay tuned. Yeah, they're getting a puppy.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Baby steps.
We were looking at puppies last night. Okay, so I just started looking at like what on my plate isn't serving me, and really had to ask myself some serious questions. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Like what do I want? And that's when I decided that I'm also studying to be a personal trainer, and then after that, I've already got the nutritionist booklet, so I'll be certified in that by next year, and I'm really pumped about it.
Right.
So that's something that I've been wanting to do for 8 years, my friend. 7 or 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. And finally decided to do it. But again, like, okay, what has to come off the plate? I have too many, I had too many commitments. And initially, I thought it was going to be Smells Like the 90s, and then I let a band go called Greenlight go. I should have just approached them and said, hey, I need to take a break. But I got really...
What was Greenlight?
Well, we rehearsed for a year.
Had you all done any gigs?
No.
I was going to say, I hadn't heard.
I don't really want to say any of the members' names.
Okay, fair enough.
But it was really spectacular, and I handled it incorrectly. I let my anxiety get the best of me. And
Were you fronting that band?
Yes.
Okay.
And basically, I should have just said, hey, I need to take a break. But instead, I just, tore everything down, and was like, we're going to build from scratch, start over. So after the first gig with Smells Like the 90s, actually on the way there, I was like, I don't want to give this up. It's fun. I really like it. It's the music I grew up listening to.
Pretty good, too.
I'm telling you. And yeah, we did have a great chemistry.
No, you're pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I made the mistake of telling Jack about that I was thinking about quitting. But this was after I had literally rearranged everything in my life to make that work. He did not like that, and it ate him up inside for about 3 weeks. And then he basically gave me an ultimatum. And I said, whoa. I don't want to have this conversation via Facebook Messenger.
Oh.
Can we, talk on the phone or get together? And this was we had been trying to get together for a whole week, which he wanted to talk with me about this stuff. I thought he wanted me to, help get things going with more, I don't know, with, some visuals and things, like a projector we talked about. I thought it was about that stuff. I was like, yeah, let's talk. But he was basically just trying to tell me I needed to make a decision, which I thought I already done. But that was the moment when things were getting really, really crazy, because I was like, we're not going to have this conversation via Messenger. We're going to talk. When can we talk? It didn't work out for whatever reason. I realized at that moment that I couldn't work with him. And I literally had prayed. I prayed to the universe. I prayed to the universe not too long before that to show me where I needed to go. That happened. The Greenlight Go thing happened. I know I didn't handle it properly. Christian told me that he wasn't really into the duo anymore. That happened. All those things happened within 1 week, dude.
Wow.
And I know, I'm getting the goosebumps. And
Good
I said,
God.
I asked for that.
You did, according to...
Right? And you know what that showed me? It showed me that when I closed my eyes and I said, what do I want to do? Where do I see myself in a year? I saw myself still selling life insurance. I saw myself training people, helping them get to whatever their goal is, whether it's being able to walk again or whether it's whatever, having abs.
And you're leading by example, too.
For sure. Yeah, I even worked out on vacation. I was really impressed. I didn't work out for 5 whole years, and I did it on a trip. But and then I saw myself on stage, but I saw myself doing my own music. Yeah. And that freaked me out, man. Because
in a good way?
In a good way. And so that's what I asked for, and literally the universe was like, all right, well, we're gonna clear everything out for you to do that. So that's where we are now. Yeah.
What is your own music?
So I'm looking for a band.
What is your own music, though?
Okay, I would just say Brandi Carlile is really my biggest inspiration. She's really hitting it. She's starting to hit it big, and I cry when I watch her videos and interviews.
Good stuff,
because I love her so much. Seen her a handful of times. Even Christian cried. But stuff like that where she can do covers that are different. She's done Zeppelin, she's done Radiohead, she's done Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But the music that she does is really versatile. It's like folk rock, Americana.
Folk rock, and that's...
But it touches everyone because of the emotion in her voice, and that's what I want to do. So maybe just start with the Brandi Carlile cover band. Try to get the Quinnies to be my Phil and Tim.
Man, that's a good fucking start.
Dude, I've played with them. I love it. I love you, Quinny brothers.
Yeah, they are amazing.
So that's really kind of like the abridged version. But it just, long story short, with the 90s, I had just had so much going on. I still kind of do, but I'm starting to understand myself better and know when I know my threshold now. I don't have to be a workaholic to hide my feelings and, actually deal with them and everything, and an alcoholic. But so it was just like, it was going to take away from my inner peace and my long-term goal.
Now, I'm a Jack guy. I like Jack. I think he's very talented. I love listening to him. He's good, and he's been good to me, and I think he and I are cool as fuck. But clearly, there's something, that wasn't resonating with the rest of you. What I mean, was your departure? Did that trigger the rest of it, or was
we were all kind of on that same?
But what was it you were not connecting with Jack on?
And it wasn't anything about the. It was definitely not artistic expression, because we were all on board with that. His ideas were phenomenal. If I'm being 100% honest, which I guess I have to be, I don't have to be. I could be.
And I'm not trying to bury him or
no,
call him
it's
out or anything.
it's just sometimes when other people's personal problems or their health problems spill out, and they make it hard to do your job when you have to work with them. That's kind of what was going on. It was just spilling out onto us, and
his stuff was just bleeding.
yeah, and I hate to say that, like, I care about him. I care about his family, and and I know it can't be easy to to have a family. No, it's not easy.
No,
especially with some of the circumstances they have. And I did talk with my sponsor about it, and she said, "Well, Amber, how many times have you made other people feel that way when you were maybe on a bender or you were, just being really hard to deal with?" And it gave me perspective, and it made me show grace. But here's what it boils down to. At the end of the day, this, from head to toe, is all I can rely on in life. So I don't think it's appropriate for me to put other people before myself.
no.
And if that sounds selfish, I don't mean it that way. I just mean, like,
I know where you're going.
why would I stay in a situation that is hurting my inner peace just so I can make them happy? But they don't have to live with me for the rest of my life. I do.
But not just hurting, but not helping. I mean, because no, again, I'm not
He
here
meant
to.
he 100% meant well. I know he did.
yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And it's just, it just.
He's fine.
It's a little
He'll be
rocky.
fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Well, I'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll all be fine.
I still talk to Christy sometimes on Facebook. She sends me things like articles about alcohol and athletics, and I really appreciate that. And
Right up your alley.
I know, and so I think everything's okay. And I'll have a talk with Jack one day when everything kind of simmers down. But I do love you, man. If you're going to listen to this,
I tell you what,
I do
though,
love you,
I
man.
have to say, man,
sometimes you just have to walk away.
That gig though, I was like, they're on to something.
I know.
They're on to
I know.
something.
It's a shame.
And I love that. I'm a fan of the. I'm just a fan of music. But that 90, the fact that you all were just really connecting, doing the 90s thing, and you all had some great songs.
Yeah, the artistic vision of it all was totally there.
Yeah.
But I have a people pleaser mentality, and that's okay because I'm in sales and customer service kind of oriented.
Right.
But there's a fine line. So it's one thing when you're pleasing people more than you're pleasing yourself.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
Good. What's on the Amber Steele bucket list? Give me some things that you're hell bent. This is going to happen before.
Well,
either sooner, later, whatever.
I'm going through ISSA for my personal training certification. So I'm studying that. Finally made it through the anatomy. Oh, my Lord have mercy. After that, it's nutrition. So I will be a certified personal trainer and nutritionist. Then after that, I want to start life coaching. So, but before I do that, I would like to be a coachee. I think that's important because I don't know all the answers. No one really ever knows all the answers. We can just only show what we've learned and what our perspective is of those things, and hopefully that connects and can help someone else. But those are like immediate, and then beyond that, like I spent a lot of time searching for false love, whether it was in drinking or if it was with men or women. Spent a lot of time doing that and not living, and so more travel. This week was the first time I had ever flown by myself, not wasted. And I was like, this isn't so bad, even though they like checked my bag for
that's
weapons.
a fucking long trip to
I
not
know.
be wasted.
I know, and but yeah, so that's kind of immediate. And I do have a family, and whatever happens after that, it's okay. Like, I don't have to just do one thing in life, but I know that I'm put on this planet to help people.
It's good.
Yeah, but I definitely, now that things are starting to get back into a groove with getting back to work, and I feel hopeful about my financial situation and the debts, and I feel like it's a good time to start putting a band together. Like, I'm really glad I'm on here today because the timing's perfect. Like, that has to happen. I do still get to play music and duos and trios, but that night, being on that stage with a full band and the way it just like...
It was. It sounded
that is,
so good. It sounded
that's
good.
my thing. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the acoustic thing, but I tell you what, I've seen you up there with Smash Out, and all that. I'm like, and you just you play the part very well. And
Thank you.
That whole
I feel like
sound.
I've got more comfortable with myself. I mean, I really
Is it?
just started
Because
doing
I was
this.
gonna
You
say
know that, right?
You're a late player in this game.
Yeah. Well, I was the kid in choir that always wanted to try out for the lead role, but didn't have the confidence. And so I would sit back and wish that I had done it. We were talking about this with my best friend in theater class. Like, I wanted to audition for the lead role, and we had a lot of great talent in our school. No joke.
Where's
Like Marshall High School in Marshall, Michigan.
Okay.
But I would just choose to do like the chorus or do makeup and costumes, which I was good at. I enjoyed doing it. It was fun, like seeing the characters come to life.
Spotlight.
But I wanted to be in the spotlight. And so it was always this like push-pull thing because I was so scared of being judged that I would mess up and hit the wrong notes or like forget my lines. And so, I mean, that's just kind of been like this baggage I had been carrying for so long. And, I had glasses and acne and crooked teeth, and I was very insecure and all that stuff. And, finally one day I was like, well, you just go fix your teeth and then you can, because I didn't want to sing with crooked teeth.
So some of that was the self-image.
For sure. I hated pictures.
Okay.
Hated them. Like, I just got comfortable with taking pictures. I'm almost 32.
There's probably a good reason to toot your horn. You're looking fine. Just saying. But no, tell me that.
I feel fine.
And you should.
fine.
Yeah, I'm glad. What was that one moment that you were able to just get in the spotlight and run with it? You remember that moment?
I really guess it was Slinky Jenkins, because I was in a group before that. It was an original country band, and we did a lot of old classic country. It was called Bottom Sop. We were talking about it with the drummer, because we had done a collaboration show at Tap Room years ago. And I was so wasted on whiskey that night. Woo, can't believe I remember him. But I was like, big, tall, nice guy with dreads. Okay. We were more of a duo in that, like, as far as the vocal responsibilities go. I probably sang about maybe 30 to 40%. And
how long ago was this?
This was I guess, maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
But then Chico called me and asked me to come audition for Slinky Jenkins. And I was like, okay, why not? Because I had just started, like, performing and stuff, like, outside of choir and things like that. And it was my first lead singer role. And I told him, I said, I know what my strengths and weaknesses are, and if you, like I said, I like to be on stage, but I don't have a lot of experience, and I said, please be honest with me. Well, he did. You know how Chico is. He knows his
I'm
stuff,
a Chico
man.
guy, too.
You know,
Yeah.
he grew up, like, playing drums with his family, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, he knows, like...
Oh, yeah.
And
If
I
he
worked with
says
him
it-
at Ditto's
yeah.
and Stevens and
Oh,
Stevens.
yeah?
And
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like, well, I know you're always talking about music. You want to come audition and see what this is like? I was like, okay. So that was when I had to.
Yeah.
And because I was like, well, you want this, and here's your chance. Like, someone's giving you a chance who's
Who-
never heard you sing before.
Right. Yeah.
So
At
That was
that
it.
moment, you tell me who were the members of Slinky Jenkins
Okay.
at that time? Was Eric in that one at that time?
no, that's Rockadelic.
Oh, Rocket. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
Chico is the drummer. Steve Clark used to be the singer. So I think he went and did Kirby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So income, green, green.
You replaced Steve Clark. Oh, wow.
Oh, I did my best. Whenever he would show up to our shows, I would just die inside. Oh my God, go home, Steve. But so it was Chico Jackson on drums, Rob Werner on bass. I know, right? Yeah. Oh, what a great stage presence that man has. Love his wife too. I love you, Renee. Tony Rucky on keys, great harmony singer, great keyboard. I mean, that guy can just play anything by ear. Oh yeah, amazing. And then of course Christian on guitar,
which is how you met Christian, right?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you that story in a second. And then myself on vocals. Yeah. And Chico's like, all right, take this tambourine. I'm gonna need you to play "Walk Like an Egyptian." And I was like, oh God, like this is so. And now I love playing the tambourine. But yeah, so that was the lineup. On our first gig, we actually got double booked. So we showed up at Diamond, and I was like so freaked out. I was like, okay, here we go. I'm ready to do this.
And you couldn't play.
No.
Wow. Jared Matthews.
Hey, no, he's been so great to us. He's been so great to every act I've been in. Ever.
Well, that's it. But that night,
he saved Smells Like the '90s first gig. So, but yeah, so that first night we were all kind of relieved. So we had because we had like a band meeting. You know, every band just feels like it's never the right moment. It's never the right moment.
So you were thinking.
But that's the thing is like you have to just go do it.
But going into that night, you were not feeling.
No, I was ready to do it.
You were ready.
I knew.
But was the band?
I had practiced so hard. We knew that we had things to work on, but we were going to let it blossom. And we were there. We were ready to do it. Right. We were mentally ready to do it. But then once they were like, oh well, blah blah, we double booked. We were just like.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So it didn't happen then. When did it happen?
You know. Okay, this is funny. So on the set list was "Let's Get It On." Marvin Gaye. And I said, I just do not feel like I am the person that should be singing this song. And they're like, well, it's really in your range. They're like, he's got a really high voice, and they're like, this is actually in a really good spot for your voice. And I was so nervous to sing that song. Which would probably be a fair
statement, but
I think so too. Yeah. But at first, it was just like such a big song, and the first time we ever did that song live, and Chico looked at me. I looked back at him, and he looked at me, and he was like, "Yes, you got this." Yeah. And that was the moment that I knew, because I changed the song up a little bit to make it my own. Right. And he was like, do that, make it your own. But there's a couple parts you need to make sure you have because they're signature to the song. But that was the moment that I realized that I could be myself and I could have fun on that stage. And if I mess up, it's okay. Even Kelly Clarkson messes up at her own shows. She jokes about it. She's like, I'm the worst with my own lyrics. And I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And that was it. Doing that song, that made me really have to come out of my comfort zone.
Do you remember about the date?
Probably about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm telling you right now, correct me if I'm wrong, you seem pretty confident on stage.
I didn't really move around as much. He showed me a video, Chico did, because I told him to give me the criticism. I said, be nice about the delivery, but you can tell me what I need to work on because I know that I need to work on things. Yeah. And he said, well, you need to move around more. He's like, I saw the video. Let's look at it. You're just kind of stationary, like you're here to put on a show. Yeah. I said, okay, I need to get out of my head and just have fun. He's like, just relax and have fun.
Shake.
Yeah.
Move your hips.
Move. Yeah. Just enjoy it. Like, is that how you would practice by yourself? No. Yeah. Okay, well, go do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're 2 years. That's pretty good. Because I want to say I saw one of the early Slinky Jenkins gigs. And that's where I first saw you, and I was like, wow, who the fuck is she? And then now it's like, that's Amber.
Amber Nicole Steele.
Nicole.
Thanks, Mom. She gave me a great name.
That's a good name.
It's my real name.
For real quick, you gotta just before we go into some other topics, stay with me.
All right.
What was this dual identity thing?
Oh no!
Come on,
Nikki.
Is that
so my name is Amber Nicole Steele, so it was Amber Nikki Steele.
Yeah.
It was just some idea we were joking about because since
I don't think I ever really understood it.
Okay, it was just really for funsies.
Yeah.
But you know how like every band that I was in was pretty much the same band, which you already like hit on. You were like, well, wasn't that with Eric? No, that was Rockadelic. So Carolyn, Chico's lady.
Dawson.
Yeah, yeah. She and I were talking about how wouldn't it be cool if you wore a wig? And it was kind of like the dark side of Amber, kind of. And I was like, oh, yeah, the dark side of Amber, she drinks tequila. But, yeah, so I went and found that wig because it was, like, kind of to differentiate between the bands, really. Right. But obviously the music was much heavier.
I got that.
And so it was kind of a persona. Actually, that was really fun, too, like playing that role.
Because that was more of a, and it was, a role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so Nikki.
Mm-hmm. Is Nikki,
I would joke and be like,
where's Nikki been? Haven't seen Nikki out in a while.
Nikki really needs to go to the salon. Nikki, her last
darling Nikki.
Her last show I think was a very hot night outside, and that her hair just got
really.
That wig was
well, does it
cheap and lasted a long time.
But Nikki doesn't have to be strictly a blonde wig.
No, you're right. You're right. But I wanted blonde because, blonde just had more fun.
You wore it well.
Thank you. But, you know, I usually keep my hair in some form of a shade of red, whether it's strawberry or whether it's auburn.
What's your natural
My natural hair color is strawberry blonde.
Okay.
As I've gotten older, it's just not as warm, so I choose to enhance it. Yeah. So I always just kind of mix up the tones a little bit, but I just wanted to do something the opposite. As I said, long blonde hair is the exact opposite of what I usually have. So it was just really fun to play dress up and wear like skinky thigh-high boots with fishnets and shorts and the booty out and the dark lips and the dark eye.
All I want to say, I got 2 words for you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great visual.
Oh man, it was fun. It was fun. Like, where other time could I really like do that and feel comfortable? You know what I mean? It's not really my like normal Saturday afternoon going to the grocery store get up.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you know.
But you weren't changing your singing style or anything.
A little bit. I got to do more
well, to
rock
me, it was still
music.
you, but
yeah.
Okay, but genre wise, yeah.
Yeah, and
Do you feel like that persona made you brought a different side of you out? I mean, was that the
honestly, it was me being able to embrace that partier in me, because when I was in Slinky Jenkins, I felt like it was a little more classy.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. The guys all wore button downs and a matching tie, and we had a keyboard player, and it was more of a classy look, and we were aiming for weddings, right? And so with Rockadelic, I was able to kind of bring out that more, you know, I had Ronnie Watchmaker.
Yeah.
And
well, enough said.
Yeah, love you, Ronnie.
It was raw. It was just,
Yeah, so I was able to kind of just like play on that more like gritty side of me, which could be bad. There was some bad stuff, but
now Rockadelic is not anymore. No, it's not, or no?
I don't know. I don't.
Well,
I left all.
Yeah, you were done.
I'm put together,
I'm just asking.
Yeah, the Green Light Go band.
I want to say, I thought Ronnie had shelved that because of like Big Rock Show.
I think so. Yeah. And so really, what's cool is I do have the option to just call up Chico and the guys and be like, hey, can I come do a set with you? If I really feel like I need to get that rock out of me, which I did a couple weeks ago, and thank God, because I needed to get that out. We were at Smyrna Inn. That was really fun. Yeah, I still have that option to do that, to still play with the band. I just kind of have to
you have
weasel my way in.
I don't weaseling your way in with.
We had fun.
Yeah.
Chico liked it, and we were like, let's do it again.
There was,
Oh God.
You post, you share your stuff on Facebook, which
yes.
I dig, I appreciate it. I think.
Never know who it's gonna help.
Right, you're on a journey, and at the same time too, I think your intention is to, just share things you're going through.
Yeah.
And somebody out there is gonna hear it, see it, and connect with it, and run with it. There was one that.
Oh Lord.
Feeling better after a good cry at a workout.
Yeah.
Just tell me what was up with that.
Okay, so so right at the same time I joined Slinky Jenkins, like I also started selling life insurance, and I was also getting out of an abusive relationship, and my mother just got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh, shit.
Right? I mean, it was just. So guess what I did? I drank as much as I possibly could without killing myself. But 2 years later, September. If you look at that post, that date of that, September 2nd was the day that she died, and it happened so abruptly. It was 4 months from the time she got diagnosed, and this was the first year sober, dealing with those feelings, and yeah, and so I was just feeling it, and I mean, I don't even know really what to say. It just felt heavy, and it was something that I didn't let myself grieve. Again, I just always drank. I live across the street from a bar, and I spend a lot of time over there. And you know what? Those people care about me. They see me once a month. I go and get my cheeseburger and fries. But you know what I'm talking about. Whatever. But that was a hard day. Over the weekend, I almost fell off the wagon, and I just.
Because you were closing in on 90 days.
Yeah. So there's that, and I don't know. I just, I missed my mom, and I just wasn't feeling good that day. And
hold that thought. I'm gonna let's go back in time. 3 weeks ago, I'm gonna read to you what you wrote.
Okay.
Feeling better after a good cry and a workout. Being sober is not easy. Sunday marks 90 days for me. I don't know where was Sunday at to this? Like Sunday.
That was a Monday, I believe.
So the day before or this coming
up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday marks 90 days for me, and drinking was my easy way out, a way to stay numb and stay distracted. Totally with you there. Miss my mom. She died 2 years ago today. As I approach a time in my life where I want to be a mother, I think about how much she would have loved to be a grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
She was the sweetest giving person, and I know she would be so proud of me. Thank you, friends, family, and Facebook family, for your support. We need each other. Do not post for attention. As a friend, I don't see that. I post for accountability and awareness. I think, yes, what you're doing to reach others that are going through similar things. You are not alone. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think you're not doing this to seek attention and see how many likes you get. I do think what you're doing is genuine. So from me to you, keep doing what you're doing, because also I think this is a way for you to kind of hold yourself accountable.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Because here's the thing, like, I do have people that are in the group because of me, and I have to lead by example. I have people that are parents. I have people that are in school. I have people that their kid is sick. I have people that are musicians that are facing a lot of debts like myself. And the thing is, it can feel like a lot of pressure to try to stay strong for everyone else, but I really, really believe that I'm here to do this. I really believe that. And so it's like, hey, like, I'm not always posting my sweaty selfie feeling like amazing every freaking day. It's not like that. At first it was, because I was still running on that high of working out again. I mean, and being sober, my sponsor calls it the pink cloud. But then once all that kind of goes away, then you actually are left to face all of the feelings of not good enough, or being unconfident, or doubting, fearful. I don't get scared anymore. Well, not as much, because there are some days where that asshole in here wants to come out and be like, you can't do that. But I'm like, yes, I can. Look what I've already done. But I don't really get scared of failing anymore, because I pick myself up out of the darkest holes and come back out. And so if I do fail, I get to know how not to do that again, if that makes sense.
It does. Totally. There was something that kind of took a kind of went viral, if you will, locally. I want to get your take, because you can almost relate to this.
Okay.
Wave 3 reporter was kissed on air by a man outside of Bourbon and Beyond. Says she filmed. Hold on, it's coming up. Says she felt powerless. She's a reporter. Real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Check this out.
When? I was in a totally different state.
You were in a different state, so you didn't have to Yeah,
I was
you
getting
weren't there.
kissed by my friend's dog, man.
Yes,
I can
dog.
relate.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Kissed and licked. All right. So, yeah. So the reporter, clearly she felt uncomfortable, as she put, powerless, uncomfortable and powerless, and obviously, dudes into her personal space.
Oh, big
Yeah.
time. That's very clear.
But the, that it, I want to say, Wave 3 somehow I think said something, or it was mentioned on the news, and then on their website, and then on Facebook, and then there was a lot of people that really were kind of like calling her out, just saying that he really didn't kiss you. I think.
Can I see the video?
Well,
Because I haven't seen it.
Let me see.
He really didn't kiss
Yeah,
you?
hold
Like,
on.
did he put his lips on your face? Because that's a kiss.
Let me see. Here. I don't have to, hold on. Do I have the sound? Where's my sound? Oh, I don't have sound. You can see it.
The guy just creeping in the back?
Yeah, look. So, he's already, you can tell.
He's up to something.
He's up to something.
She's aware of him.
Yeah. She can tell. And, granted, he's probably drinking or whatever, but.
Wait, granted? Okay, so yeah, the guy's a jackass. Just like totally invaded
hold
her
that thought.
space.
Hold that thought, because this gets posted by Wave 3, and then people on Facebook are sharing it and then commenting on it, and I was a little surprised. A lot of people kind of like, were just kind of calling her out for they didn't think it was serious enough. They didn't think, he didn't even kiss her. She's getting over an air kiss, or getting all upset over an air kiss. And I'm like, he's in her fucking face. I mean, he's violating
and she's
to me.
trying to do her job.
Right.
And I think I know why you showed this to me, because being on stage and having
that's
situations where
you probably have it
I have.
somewhat encountered or have.
for
but
sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm bringing it up, because you can definitely relate to the moment.
Yeah.
So, but I'm interested in knowing your reaction to the moment.
So what I just saw, I feel like that guy was just being a drunk jackass, and
It wasn't spontaneous, because
he creeped around,
creeped around.
obviously, and she saw him and was aware that she probably felt his vibe.
Yeah, and personally,
And,
I'm going to say I think it's a fucking douchebag move. I mean, it's a bitch move that you think you're
You want
trying
to get
be
on TV
cool.
and like disrespect someone,
Yeah.
while they're trying to do their job.
Yeah, because at the same time, whatever job this dude has, it's probably safe to say that if she came and interfered with his job, he probably wouldn't like it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, he basically got her at probably like one of the most vulnerable times. She's sitting there, got her and the cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's trying to like capture this, what's supposed to be a good spirited, good time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what he's thinking, why he would do that. But yeah, like, he didn't rape her, but it doesn't matter. He disrespected her, whether it's on that level or whether it's on super duper high level.
She actually posted this on her Twitter, and with the comment that said, "Hey, mister, here's your 3 seconds of fame. How about you not touch me? Thanks." I think she's got a point.
Yeah.
She's doing her job. She's doing her fucking job, and the douchebag. I don't care if anybody hears me say this and knows the guy, forward it to him, whatever. No, I think it's inappropriate. I just think it's totally uncool.
It's cute to embarrass people with your affection and they don't want it?
Yeah,
That's not
Who
cute.
the fuck are you? So let's go to you, because obviously you're up there gigging, and people are drinking. It starts to get late at one of these venues.
Yeah.
That let you play until 2-ish in the morning,
Yeah.
and you're basically on the same level as people are close enough to touch you.
Yeah.
Has there been any awkward moments that you dealt with?
Jack and I played at Gerstl's, and towards the end of the night, it was about 11:30. That's just like it was. I think it was Memorial Day weekend. I think maybe it was 4th of July weekend or something, whatever. Just this swarm of like really young people came up. Like, they all just turned 21 and they just like left their families.
You said Gerstl's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On like a Wednesday night. And, it just got lit in there, which is great. Like, I'm glad they got busy. But there was this kid, big buff guy, really sloppy drunk. Kind of looked like if he just had one like miscalculation, he would just be down, like the giant, right? He just kept coming up and trying to grab my mic. Yeah. And when you're in that moment, and first of all, people are looking at you, and you're trying to remember the song lyrics, you're trying to be professional, and he just kept grabbing my mic, and finally, like, I almost punched him just out of reflex, and like, I snatched it out of his hand, and my arm went back, and I remember Jack looking at me going, oh shit. Like, he's like, you almost punched that dude. I was like, I didn't mean to draw back, but it was just like, I kept telling him, and I kept saying things over the mic to try to like get the staff to get him, but I guess they couldn't hear me, and maybe I should have gone down to the bar and said something, but again, I'm thinking about being professional and continuing my show. That's where my head was. But no, we had to, I finally was like, hey, I need you guys to get him. He keeps taking my equipment, and this is expensive equipment. And finally, like, his buddies, like, walked him out, and the guy just, like, stumbled across the street. That was one.
Did he get hit by a car?
No, I'm glad he didn't. But I was worried for his safety, believe it or not, even though he was being disrespectful. He was, like, in my face yelling songs at me, like, do this song. I'm like, oh, my God, you're so drunk. Like, kind of scary, like frat guy is scary. Let's see. Sometimes people, they'll just kind of like get in your bubble, and I don't know, like I've had a lot of people kiss me on the cheek and stuff before that I don't know, and it is uncomfortable. Oh, this is a good one. A couple weeks ago, Christian and I were playing at Tulane, and this guy comes in, and
not bike night.
No, it was a Friday. He came in, and he was standing to the right of me. We were on the little stage, and he's just staring at me. And I'm like, still singing. I mean, he's like this far. I'm not even kidding. And then finally he comes up and whispers in my ear, like, oh, you're so pretty. I just came from the studio. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no. And then he said something about, do we want to hang out? And I was like, we're in the middle of a set, by the way. And I'm like, that's my man. Christian's like, hey guy. So I mean, I've had that, but in the past I've had some pretty bad things happen to me.
Do you realize the mentality of like that guy? He probably fucking thought that every song that he was listening to, you were singing to him.
Yeah,
and that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird, and it's really strange too, because as a female, we're supposed to like keep people happy and not be rude.
Try to
and like be polite,
visually engage with people,
and that too, and like but there's that. It just goes back to like just us being disrespected, and it doesn't happen as much now.
Well, I do think
to me at least
the venues definitely have to be cognizant of that kind of shit and shut that shit down right away. I don't know. Do y'all have safe things like gestures or a safe word that you would say into the mic that someone in the venue
No, but
would,
it probably should.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just.
There was one time I was playing with Rockadelic, and I had that wig on, and like a fight broke out. And you know how I like would go out in the crowd and like sing with people and stuff?
You were already out there?
I was already out there, and Ronnie and I were actually joking about this the other day, because I almost lost my wig.
That would have. Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you just like kept singing. He was like, you just kept going. I was like, wow. I think I screamed. I was like, security! Put my wig back on and like kept singing.
Let me add real quick. Let me find it. You know who Don G is, right?
Don G.
This is Dawn. She's a wave 3. She's like
Oh,
a
Dawn.
Dawn.
Okay, yeah.
She added a comment because this kind of took off on its own, and she said, how does she put nervous laughter, because she was laughing. The reporter kind of laughed at it during the thing. And Dawn was like, nervous laughter does not equate to approval.
Hey, you knew you were going to say approval, yeah. Yeah, because laughter is a defense mechanism, you know? And when you're in that situation, like, you're literally so, like, in the moment where you're trying to do a good job, you're on TV, you're trying to remember what you're supposed to say, you're trying to, you know, look professional, and there's so much going on, and then all of a sudden somebody just comes in and tries to steal your sunshine. But yeah, for the people that are like saying that, you know, that she's overreacting, I think that's really weird. And
You know, I think some of that, like,
and they weren't in, like, you can never know 100% what someone is thinking or feeling ever. Like, you can be married to that person, you could be their parent. You never 100% know what's going on inside of someone else. So for other people to discredit her feelings is really inhuman.
you know, some of that stems from, you know, this deal with millennials and the younger people are trigger, you know, and then, or the hashtag Me Too, that some people think that, you know, that women are overreacting or using that as a means to. I was like, one of the examples, like, get the fuck off Facebook, Kevin. Stay off social media.
I know, right?
And so I'm, anyways. What you got going on in the near future? When will I get to see you sing on stage with either your, I don't know, current color or the blonde?
Oh. Okay, so Friday, Christian and I will be at Halftimes. I think that's
Right?
our last gig together.
That's Mount
other than in Mount
So
Washington.
you all really are gonna?
He wants to do other things,
Really?
and you know,
He's
I'm
like,
such a great
I need
girlfriend.
some free time. I need some
You
time
know.
to do something else. What can I cut bait on? Oh,
Oh, my girlfriend that lives with me.
that gig we do. Oh, I'll just see her. We could
You
sing in
know.
we could sing it on the couch or whatever.
Here's the thing, like, at first my little feelings were hurt, of course. And he said, "It's not you, it's me." And I was like, ugh. But basically, it was actually, like I said, it was around the time when I had, like, started, like, stripping everything off, taking everything off the plate, like, with the bands and things. And I realized...
Oh, so it's been kind of that at that time, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
we've had
right,
gigs because we're honoring the gigs we
yeah,
have.
no, okay.
It's not like we,
Gotcha.
like, had a fight and
Right.
he's like, fuck you. But it was just... it's not the kind of music he likes. He likes playing in the rock band. He likes the stuff that he does at home. He makes his own music.
Mm-hmm. I've
So-
heard.
I know.
I've heard he
I
does,
know.
but I haven't heard
It's
it.
really spectacular. I'm telling you, like, this stuff could have been the soundtrack for Game of Thrones. And then his
Really?
original rock music is just
Wow.
so great.
Good.
So that's what he wants to do.
With vocals too, or just who's
well,
doing-
with the rock stuff he writes his own vocals.
Okay.
But with the other stuff, it's kind of like he's
So
gonna
he's
kill me.
doing
He's
his
gonna
own
kill
thing.
me. He is
Oh,
doing his own thing,
okay.
and so I understand having to do what you want to do to make you happy, because he was only doing this for the last year and a half with me to make me happy, and I really appreciate it because we've had some great gigs, and you know what? It's really helped me as a singer to just
Yeah.
be me and him stripped down with a guitar and me get comfortable with my voice. And but yeah, I told him, I was like, you better be glad. we have a friend, a couple that he plays with in another band. I was like, you better be glad that I'm not so and so, because she told me she would kill him if he
Oh,
did that to
wow.
her. And I said, like, I get it.
But does she sing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking
But
about. Yeah, it's fine.
and all my friends are like, wow, I would be really pissed at him. And I said, no, he's I respect it. You know, he didn't mean to hurt my feelings, and initially it did, but I got over it, and that's when I changed my Facebook page to Amber Steele Music, because again, it was just the universe telling me that it was time to make room for what was really inside, that I wanted to, you know, start. This man, Christian, has recorded about 4 or 5 of my original songs for me, played every instrument on them, and all I got to do is put vocals on them.
Yeah.
And then I can say, hey, this is some of the music I've written. Brandy Carlisle's my musical inspiration. Who wants to play this with me?
I would love to hear some of that.
Yeah, you will. You
Good.
will. So it all
Sooner
works
than
out.
later.
You know, I literally was thinking today after I woke up from my third nap, like,
Well,
hey,
you
Christian,
just got.
when are we going to record?
Yeah, you just got back from a trip, so
For sure.
Yeah.
And you will hear the Adele song. You're going to like it. My friend Mariah,
good.
you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she should come sing with you. But she really loves being on the island. She loves it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so those are my goals. Definitely am looking for a full band. Anyways, more trips in the future, traveling, living life, enjoying life,
Good.
being nice to people.
Spreading some of that good karma. Huh?
Good karma, good juju.
Yeah, I like it. Good stuff.
What about you? What you got going on? It's your turn.
I'm just right now. Recently started a new job, so I'm concentrating on that during the day and
Getting into that groove. I feel you.
yeah.
Yep.
And so it's out in St. Matthews, which means I'm going to be moving out that way.
Wow. What part of town do you live in now?
Hillview,
Hillview.
Preston, Gene
Okay.
Snyder.
Okay. So are you pretty excited to get into more of
Yeah,
your scene?
I hate the fucking commute from St. Matthews. Because for me, it's like Preston to Gene Snyder to 65 to the Waterson to Shelbyville Road.
Oh yeah.
And rush hour traffic is, no, I'm not a.
And it's really not even that far.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not, but it's just, I don't have.
It's a beast.
Zero patience sitting in traffic. And that's when you really understand the mentality of people, too. There's a lot of stupid people. They shouldn't be proud.
Gosh, to get me started on driving, I literally have to talk to myself in the car to not get worked up. And I listened to podcasts, and one of them was so funny.
Same.
It was like, well, why do you get so upset about other drivers? Why do you take it so personally? And I'm like, I do take it really personally. I feel like I'm being disrespected. Like, just use your fucking turn signal.
Yeah.
They're not for you. They're for everyone else on the road.
Exactly.
But you know
Or
what?
If you
I
want to
can't
know
change these
someone's
people.
common sense,
Yeah.
4 people get to a 4-way stop. You
Oh,
can
no.
right away figure that out. So, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've just, this Shooting from the Lip podcast, it'll be 5 years in November. And I love talking sports, so I added a totally sports podcast.
Nice.
And I love the paranormal and the UFOs, so I added a UFO show. So I'm doing 3 podcasts right now, and I'm having a good time with it. And it's keeping me occupied in the evenings for the most part.
Yes.
And it actually is doing something that I really needed to do, and it's like stay away from the bar scene during the weekday.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I feel you, man.
So, yeah. So right now, it's just if I
Staying
get out,
busy and doing the things that you love.
yeah, and if I get to, and I get out. And obviously, there's music playing here, and I'm in
I
a
know.
bar.
There have been so many times I wanted to sing a harmony with him.
I
Like,
know that. I wish you would. Because
oh, they're so nice. I'm gonna say bye
yeah.
before I go.
So yeah, I'm just doing my thing and going with the flow, and whatever is supposed to happen, kind of like you. It's the order of the universe. Whatever is going to happen, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll know when it falls in my lap.
Yeah.
And
Write yourself a letter. You ever do that?
someone else told me that.
Do it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, because
it saved my life one time. So remember I was telling you about that country band I was in?
yeah.
So this is about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in a really, really bad place. That depression, and then that one was worse. There was more cocaine involved. I mean, it was like daily. It was bad. So anyways, I wanted to take my life. And I knew that that wasn't the right thing to do. I just knew that it wasn't. And I decided to write myself a letter. And it was like, Dear Amber, I know things seem really hard right now, but it's okay. It's going to be better. I know you've done some really bad things, but you're not a bad person. You're not what you have done. And then I got down to what makes you happy? Because I was not happy. I was so miserable, and I was just perpetuating it with my actions, right? I was like, well, what makes you happy? And then I was like, music. Singing makes me happy. And then I asked myself, well, what are you going to do about it? And then I wrote, And all this just like poured out of me. Like there was no thinking. It was just in there and it was just coming out.
Right.
And it was like, well, I had been wanting to move to the Highlands. Like, I'm going to move to the Highlands. I'm going to find a restaurant job near my house so I don't have to like travel like I was doing with the previous job. And I'm going to join a band. And I shit you not, Kevin, 3 months that all happened. And I wanted to kill myself. And that letter, and if it wasn't for that letter getting me into that one band, that restaurant I worked at, that's where I met Chico. I'm getting chills. I never even made that connection until now.
Yeah.
And then he
interesting.
heard me talking about singing and asked me, never heard me sing.
I like
just
that.
asked me to come audition for Slinky Jenkins.
Yeah.
So write yourself a letter. You'd be surprised what
You know
can
what?
come out in that letter. I don't have it anymore. I burned it.
Did you?
I did. Because it was closure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect. No, I think I may take you up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
It's always fun hanging out with you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This
good
is
stuff.
really nice. And I'll keep you posted on
Music.
all the
and
music stuff.
Crying tears on Facebook. Which,
Yeah.
To me, you know what? I think it's
We're
very
humans, man.
It's very healthy to purge emotions
Yeah.
daily, laughing or crying. So,
Yes, I've been so into comedies lately. Like, I used to really love dark, scary things. And I remember there was one day when I was trying to make a selection on, like, what kind of show do I want to watch before bed? And I was like, you know what? I don't want to put anything dark and negative in here right now. I want to laugh.
happy thoughts.
Happy thoughts. Yeah. You've got to feed that soul.
Feed the soul.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
it's-
speaking of feeding, I think I'm going to go home and
I'm kind of hungry too.
eat some more pizza before I get back on my 85% vegan, 15% trash diet.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank
Always
you.
good to hang out with you, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
All right. My girl.